Joining BYU Sports Nation right now, Ben Nielsen, editor of Arrowhead Addict blog, part of the Fanside Network, a partner with SI.com. Ben, you cover all things Kansas City Chiefs. You've been doing that for quite a while. It is our purpose today to get the latest on former BYU safety Daniel Sorensen and his shot to make the Chiefs' 53-man roster. From what you have seen thus far, what gives Daniel a great shot to make it as an undrafted free agent?
Yeah, well, the first thing that's going in his favor is the roster, man. Chiefs are probably going to keep about 9 or 10 defensive backs, and he's right there in that mix. There's probably about 6 or 7 guys that you can go ahead and say, yeah, they're definitely on the roster, and those 2 or 3 open spots really kind of favor Sorensen and his game and how he plays.
In an article you wrote, you mentioned 3 things that give Sorensen a chance to make the roster. The first thing you listed is special teams, which we noticed. We called him a first-team All-American special teams player. His ability to cover on punts is unique. How will that play into his chances to make the roster?
If he makes the roster, that's probably the number one reason. The Chiefs, probably more than any other NFL team, spend a lot of time and resources on their special teams unit. They probably have one of the best coaches in football and special teams in Dave Taub. They've invested a lot of money. They've paid their punter, Dustin Colquitt, one of the highest paid contracts ever for a punter. They just invest a lot of time and resources into the special teams unit. And if Sorensen, as you say, he's an excellent special teams player already coming into it, he can come in and he can make plays and not only just cover well, but do what he did at BYU and block punts and things like that. Well, then, to me, there's almost no doubt that he ends up being one of those back-end-of-the-roster guys who makes the team and adds depth at safety.
Ben Nielsen, editor of Arrowhead Addict blog on BYU Sports Nation right now. He's part of the Fanside Network, a partner with SI.com. Ben, Daniel had 2 interceptions in an early practice, and Jeremy and I have had some fun banter about how much that really matters. With his performance like that, when he comes up with 2 interceptions in a practice, what does that really mean for his chances to impress the coaches and make that roster?
Well, in June, it probably doesn't mean too much. John Dorsey is the general manager of the Chiefs. He came from the Packers. He has said several times that he really values those preseason games, those 4 preseason games. That's the time that Sorensen really needs to come out and show this is what he can do. It certainly doesn't help having the interceptions in June. It does keep him apart from the rest of the pack and keeping somebody from leaping over him sort of in the depth chart or in the rankings of things. But if he's going to make this team, if things are going to work out for him, it's going to be because he went in those preseason games and he played very well in special teams and he was catching on to the defense very quickly as a safety.
Ben Nielsen of Arrowhead Addict, covering the Kansas City Chiefs, is on BYU Sports Nation. A few moments ago, you said something like, no doubt you thought that he would make the roster. Did I catch that correctly? You're very confident that he will make the 53?
If he performs on special teams, I think he's in that mix of sort of, if you're going to rank the roster from 1 to 53, he's in that 50 to 55 range for me.
Okay.
I'd be very surprised if he doesn't at least make the practice squad. Of course, to make the practice squad, he'll have to go through the waivers, so he'll be exposed to every other NFL team. So that would play into it. But I think there's a very serious shot that he can make the team, especially just with the way that the roster is currently constructed for the Chiefs.
There's been so much talk about Andy Reid being a former BYU guy and Daniel Sorensen being the perfect fit because they have those natural BYU ties.
Andy at least gives BYU guys a chance.
Did that play a major role in the Chiefs going after Daniel when he went undrafted?
I think that it definitely played a role in getting him on the radar and having a good idea of who he is as a football player and as a person. John Dorsey and Reid have a pretty good relationship. Dorsey is pretty much in control of the draft, and he's in control of who ends up on the roster in terms of this big 90-man group that they have. But they do get along very well, and it wouldn't surprise me if BYU connection and Reid, having been there, did play a role in Sorensen ending up on the roster.
Ben Nielsen is on BYU Sports Nation. When Andy Reid was in Philadelphia, a ton of success there. Now had his first season with the Chiefs last year, took him to the playoffs. What's the perception of Andy Reid and how he did with the Chiefs after year one?
Well, hey, when you go from 2-14 to 11-5, you're pretty happy.
Yeah, would have liked to finish the first game there with the Colts in the playoffs, but what's the perception?
Sure. It's very good. I think a lot of people look at the playoff loss as a combination of bad luck with injuries. Jamal Charles got hurt 6 snaps in. They still scored 44 points. But this actually kind of plays into why I think Sorensen has a really good chance of making the roster. Is part of what killed him in that game is that they just didn't have any depth at safety or in the secondary. And Sorensen would be an upgrade for the Chiefs over what they had. And I think that's kind of how that's sort of playing in with Andy Reid as well, that, this was a roster that a year ago today was 2-14. Leaping to 11 wins is already pretty intense as it is, but it just shows how far off of this roster has to go to be an annual competitor. So things are very high on the Reid camp. Everybody loves him. Everybody loves his cheeseburgers and Tommy Bahama shirts, and it's going pretty well over here.
I'm sure quite a few people wanted to buy Andy a nice barbecue dinner after an 11-5 season, improving 9 wins. So, certainly he's got a good thing going. Do me a favor. The next time you talk to Daniel Sorensen, you tell him the guys from BYU Sports Nation say what's up and that we are going to deliver him the karma through you, okay? Say you have the karma given to you from the BYU Sports Nation guys, and he will know exactly what you're talking about.
All right, I will definitely deliver the karma.
You got it. Thanks, Ben.
No problem. Thank you.